It's the 3 on PLAXtv.
Yeah, today's gonna be a good day. What's good, y'all? It's your boy PLAX, and I am back with another episode of the 3 on PLAXtv, and I am back in an undisclosed location. And today, I am talking about Jaylen Brown. Yes, Boston Celtics, $300 million, no left hand, Jaylen Brown to the Big Three League. Now, not permanently, Jaylen Brown has agreed to play in the Big Three League All-Star Game, which is huge. Because previously, the Big Three League created by Ice Cube, shout out to Ice Cube, the Big Three League has mostly consisted of former NBA players, retired NBA players like Gilbert Arenas and Kenyon Martin and I'm trying to think Andre Blatch and Glenn Big Baby David. Just a slew of retired, still able to play at a certain level, but maybe not NBA level basketball players. So a current in their prime or close to their prime young NBA player deciding to play in the Big Three All-Star Game is huge, not only for the Big Three League itself, but for basketball. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple things here because Ice Cube made some comments a while back kind of alluding to the NBA kind of sabotaging the Big Three League in a way. I don't remember the exact details on why he felt like that. The only reason I believe it is because Ice Cube don't seem like the type of guy to just make some shit up. And I feel like there may be some truth to what he was saying, possibly. Because the Big Three League, one, is a different style of basketball. 3v3 half court is different from 5v5 full court. 3v3 basketball is growing more and more every day. They added it to the Olympics and the World Games. The Big Three League itself is huge, and you add in the fact that they have a lot of people's favorite players from the past also in the league. They even tried to get Kobe. Now, I don't know if Kobe was going to actually play in the league, but, you know, if that tragedy wouldn't have happened, who knows? Kobe could have played in the Big Three League, and that would have also been huge. Now, I understand this is just an all-star game, but even just the thought of a current NBA player being in the Big Three League in any capacity changes the game. And now I'm starting to see why the NBA would want to sabotage the Big Three League. Because imagine if somebody like Jaylen Brown was just like, hey, you know, this is less taxing on my body. I can be in one city because I don't think they travel much. Like, I think they all travel together. They go to like different cities together, like as a league. I don't think there's like, you don't go to Boston to play the Boston team. You see what I'm saying? You don't go to Miami. You play. They may be in Vegas. They may be in New York. They may be in LA, but you play a certain amount of games in that area, and then you guys leave. You see what I'm saying? You're there for 2 weeks or something like that. And then they leave to the next city and you play more games. What if a guy like Jaylen Brown was like, hey, this is less taxing on my body, less travel. It's not as extraneous as far as playing against, you know, the competition and stuff like that, because most of the guys, again, are retired players. Again, that might be a little crazy because you're probably not getting $300 million to play in the Big Three League, but I do see the fear and the potential of sabotage in that situation. I'm gonna let the conspiracies go for a second. I'm gonna just talk about how good this is for the league, for the Big Three League itself, because I was excited when the Big Three League came out. And I always wondered why it wasn't growing the way I thought it would. I was like, maybe because it's just a bunch of older guys in there. Maybe because it's just smaller and it's tough to get a league off the ground if you do have a lot of support and stuff like that. And I also always wondered why the NBA didn't, promote it as much as other outlets do. And now I'm starting to get it. But huge shout out to Jaylen Brown for reaching his hand out and helping out Ice Cube in the Big Three League, because I think it's important. I think it's great, not only for just basketball fans, but for retired players, because a lot of guys have to retire because they just not as good. Like Jeff Teague told a story about how De'Aaron Fox and Darius Garland made him know he should retire. Like they fucked him up with how shifty they were and how quick they were, and it was just stuff that he wasn't used to, and he was like, yeah, it's time to pack it up. Jeff Teague isn't really that old. Like, what is he, like 33, 34, something like that? Jeff Teague probably most likely can still hoop relatively well, like a lot of those guys. Lance Stevenson, I believe he's in the Big Three League. Lance Stevenson can still hoop really well. Michael Beasley has always been a really good basketball player, but maybe just not good enough to be a role player, a star player, a bench player in the NBA. Because the NBA is changing, it's getting more athletic. Guys, younger guys and better guys are coming into the league. Shit, Victor Wembanyama is 7'4", and he plays like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant himself, he's 7 feet tall and plays like a shooting guard. That's tough. That's tough for anybody, especially if you may be getting older or maybe you're just not as athletic as other guys. That's just tough to overcome. But the Big Three League is a place where older guys don't have to go overseas and be away from their families or bring their families to a whole different world or in a whole different country just so they could play basketball for a few more years. You can stay home in the States. You can make a little bit of money. Obviously, you're not making NBA money, but you're making something. You get to still play the sport you love for a few more years. And you entertaining people, and you having fun. You're entertaining people and having fun at the same time. And I just really appreciate Ice Cube for putting something like this together, because I don't think we'll feel the impact of what the Big Three League is until later on down the road. And hopefully, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Cube maybe have some misinformation. I hope the NBA isn't trying to sabotage the Big Three League, because it's like AEW and WWE. I wouldn't say Big Three League is the equivalent of AEW when it comes to wrestling, but it's like AEW and WWE. When AEW first came out, everybody was like, oh, now WWE has competition, like this is big, and it was. But AEW is more so now in hindsight to give more wrestlers choices in the States instead of having like these guys to go overseas. There's more choices, right? But AEW, I personally don't think will ever be able to truly compete with WWE, because WWE is the NFL. It is the NBA. They've had dominance for so long that it's just going to be tough for anybody to legitimately compete or bring it down. And the same thing with the Big Three League. The Big Three League, under no circumstance, will ever be able to bring down the NBA. The ABA couldn't do it. And that's when the NBA wasn't even half as popular as it is now. So this Big Three League isn't going to do it. So I hope that the NBA isn't, kind of trying to take down something that can't even touch them. You see what I'm saying? Because I feel like that'd be a waste of resources and a waste of time. I think it'd be more beneficial to link up with them in a sense, and kind of like, how they have the G League as like a developmental league where young guys could go and get better. Even high school guys like Jaylen Green and Scoot Henderson can go there instead of going to college or instead of going overseas and learn how to be a pro and be ready to get drafted and stuff like that. The Big Three League could be the opposite of that. The transition out. Got guys like Nicholas Batum. Nicholas Batum is retiring soon. Guys like Kobe. Kobe retired. Unfortunately, he passed away. But Kobe retired. Kobe dropped 60 in his last game. He could have definitely cooked in the Big Three League. He was ready to go. LeBron James. LeBron, we talk about how long LeBron has left, and he could still potentially play for a long time, but maybe he don't want to. Maybe, the Big Three League could be something for LeBron, and that would be extremely huge for LeBron James to go to the Big Three League. But that could only be facilitated if there was a relationship. And I think there needs to be a relationship so stuff like that can happen. I think, honestly, Jaylen Brown playing in the All-Star game is the first piece of that. Because if the Big Three League is still around when Jaylen Brown retires, which that's like a decade or 15 years from now, but whenever that is, maybe he goes. And Jaylen Brown, as far as we can tell, is an all-star level player. Maybe he goes to the Big Three League. Obviously, LeBron is like an extreme version of that. But like just having that connection, like the G League is a connection to the NBA. The NBA can be a connection to the Big Three League as a farewell. You see what I'm saying? Like your career, you can't really hoop in the NBA anymore. But you have somewhere to go where you can still make money, still play the game you love, and not have to move elsewhere or be broke or whatever the case may be. Now, granted, NBA players now shouldn't be broke. Not saying it can't happen, but you shouldn't be broke. You should, there's enough stories where players coming into the league should know, hey, I should be careful with my money. So that's a whole different conversation. But regardless, you still, like, most guys retire when they 30 to 35, around there. That's still a lot of time. Statistically, people live till they like 65 to 70. That's 30, 40 years that you got of living. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if you got like $1 million, $2 million saved up, that could be gone very quickly. So you need stuff like this to make more money and keep revenue coming in and not be as taxing on yourself. So yeah, I really think, and I just thought of that as I was chatting, y'all. Like I really think the Big Three League should just be a avenue like the G League is. But again, the NBA has to be open to that. I feel like Ice Cube is open to that. I don't see why he wouldn't be. That would just make his league better and bigger. I wouldn't necessarily want the NBA to take over because, this is Ice Cube's baby. But, I mean, shit, if they paid him, though, I don't think he would have a problem with that either. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. What y'all think about Jalen Green playing in the All-Star game, the Big Three League All-Star game? What do you think about my theory on the NBA sabotaging the Big Three League? I believe there's some truth to that. What do you guys think about the Big Three League being this gonna sound a little messed up, a retirement home for retired NBA players? But just let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the 3 on PLAXtv. Are you guys enjoying it? Let me know some stuff that you would like to hear me talk about. And make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. And most of all, YouTube. I love you guys. Peace out.
It's the 3 on PLAXtv.
Yeah. Today's going to be a good day.